Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Unlimited Railworks Video Game Choo-Choo's anime podcast. I'm your host Rose, and it's Valentine's, and we got everyone here together instead to talk about anime. But we did two of our cohorts here did go out and about to see a film in theaters, which is pretty cool. That would be Maverick and John. Hi, guys.
Hey, unfortunately we didn't go together, like, actually at the same location.
Yeah, that would have been good.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
When they,
my boy.
When they release, like, Kiyosagiga in theaters, we can all go somehow. We'll find a way.
Sure.
Something like that. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. Elvie's also here. Hello, Elvie.
Hello. I did not get to experience the movies.
Me either. I was going to go, but one of my friends who I wanted to go with is still on season 1 of Kaguya, so I didn't want to, like, force him to, burn his way through 2 seasons of, a comedy that I think, like, is wonderful, but could definitely, like, rush down like that. Might not have the punch that it should. But that's fine. I'm sure it'll be on Crunchyroll soon enough. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, like I said, because we're going to talk about A Place Further Than the Universe, which was a Studio Madhouse anime from 2018. That was co-produced by Crunchyroll, which I think is like one of the major facts people know about it because, they pushed it pretty hard. I think was that one of their first co-productions?
See, I didn't realize that it was a Crunchyroll co-production.
Oh, really? Yeah, that was
never came up.
That was like the main thing that I knew about it forever ago, that it was like, because if you go to like Crunchyroll on like a Roku, for example, they're always pushing it super hard on like all of their little categories that they make.
That makes sense in hindsight.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with what was that Crunchyroll anime last? What, Tower of God, right? Where it's like, yeah, this is that studio is making an anime, but their Crunchyroll's giving them the money.
That, and it also was like in that moment where people got really into manhwa and like webtoon for a second.
It's weird that it didn't continue, but I feel like, God of High School was we've discussed all of these in the past. I think
there was a moment of hype, and then whoo-wee.
Yeah,
I think right now I think it's Donghua. It's China.
Yeah, I was gonna say Donghua.
An interesting moment right now. We're not necessarily co-productions, but more like stuff like Billy's just now like willing to distribute and
it's great.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
interesting.
I know I've talked about it a lot, but there's a lot of Chinese games and stuff that it's been great to see. Like,
that are also getting
Steam Next Fest gets a ton of Chinese demos that are really, a lot of them are really interesting. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. I wish we could get that from Korea maybe a little more again. But I'm sure it'll happen in time. They're making Tower of God season 2 allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So they got over that hurdle.
But yeah, A Place Further Than the Universe is not like those. It was an original TV anime. And it's about these 4 girls who make it their goal, or well, 3 of them make it their goal anyway, to go to Antarctica. And it's mainly about, like, let's say that there's this girl, Shirase, who the main character, Tamaki, meets. And she meets this girl who wants to go to Antarctica, basically, through some circumstances. And she's just like, you know what? I always wanted to mix things up in my life, so sure, I'll help you. And then they meet some other girls, and eventually they go to Antarctica. And, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff happens along the way. So this was a rewatch for you and Maverick, Elfie? Was that?
No,
you hadn't seen it either?
No, I actually never really...
Okay.
I remember trying to watch it, but I never really just got around to finishing it properly.
Okay.
So this would technically, I would honestly consider this to be a fresh watch.
All right. Well, then fair enough. That's easy enough. Then do you want to start us off? Do you want to talk about what your thoughts are on A Place Further Than the Universe?
Yeah, and I kind of relayed that to a lot of us in our our anime group huddle, group chat.
Yeah.
Where I felt like the series was harkening a lot of feelings and similar vibes to what I felt like were a trend of coming of age stories in the early 2000s to the 2010s, in which like the young adolescent protagonist or protagonists, a group of friends, are always thrust upon this extraordinary journey that's not really fantastical or magical at all, but kind of fits in this weird realm of magical realism, because it's like, why are a group of teenagers going to Antarctica? What normal circumstance would enable you to just have that happen to you? And that very much does happen in this show, in terms of like, well, what a coinky dink. This girl's got bucks. Let's just go. And of course, that's simplifying what actually happens. But yeah, I'm reminded a lot, specifically a lot of Disney Channel stuff. And again, I keep bringing it up, but the Lizzie McGuire movie is insane.
Yeah, no, like I think you really made me think about, like, yeah, that is a very good analog here to a degree. Like I think this is better, definitely, than perhaps the Lizzie McGuire movie. No offense to Lizzie, but
yeah, like those movies, like the Princess Diaries movies, when one of Anne Hathaway's like big like spotlight on her when she was still younger. In that situation, she's just like, what? I'm related to royalty? Huh? And then, whisked away to this fictional country and goes through all that. The Lizzie McGuire movie, on the other hand, they go to the very real place of Rome. I'm relaying this information in case no one knows what happens in the Lizzie McGuire movie. So, the Lizzie McGuire series on Disney Channel, which was very much just a slice of life, day-to-day teen school comedy thing. This just pretty much normal girl, and the whole thing about this show is that she has like an inner monologue cartoon character, and it's cute, all that. But then for some reason the movie, which they treat as a finale to the series, they're like a public high school in California, I guess. Like I just assume like a lot of these, like some sort of fictionalized West Coast high school. Their senior field trip is to go to fucking Rome for like a whole ass month. I don't know. I have never. What normal high school does that? What they are?
Yeah, like for me, like there were like
school.
honors classes that had like you could pay a bunch of money during the summer to go to Spain or something. Right, like something that doesn't that. Yeah, again, so this is the point I'm making. This is a real place that possible, but is pretty extraordinary and not not feasible or realistic at all for like this just happening to like a group of teenagers. And of course, on that trip, their lives change forever, so to speak. In the movie, they like Lizzie McGuire realizes her true love and all that. She meets like a Italian version of herself. They're going there because it's also in time with a pop concert of some Italian pop singer. And then in the end, she ends up on stage with the Italian pop singer because I can summarize this whole movie. I can go on about this movie, but we're not talking about we're talking movie. Yeah, maybe in another episode we can go watch that. Yeah.
But my point being, this is what that series felt like. Like, it kind of the turnaround of like, okay, we for some reason need to go to this like far off place so distant from our actual reality for us to kind of have this coming of age transition in our lives. And in that regard, talking about like how silly that whole subgenre of coming of age stories are, it does kind of like show and magnify a bit of the issues like the series had and like what it was trying to, I think, not convey. I don't, that's not probably the right word, but I think what I guess the tone of the series is a little strange in that regard. That said, I think overall, yeah, it is a good series, and I see why it was so popular. You know, beyond what we realize now might be a marketing push by Crunchyroll, right? But for sure, I think that effectiveness of here's a story about a teenager who's going through some sort of dilemma and then going off to a different place to find herself in a literal way. You know, if we're going to specifically talk about Shirase, that makes a lot of sense. That reads a lot. And I think looking at the series through that lens, like this is supposed to be a coming age story, that is where it kind of does get iffy over like whose story is this supposed to be. So right, we start the first half of the series, which I think actually was done really well, and I think it was appropriate to do that. You know, focuses on they're still in Japan. Here's a starting point of our characters. But you know, and then we reach the second half of the series where we're like, okay, they actually start going on the journey. They start going on both the emotional and literal physical journey to Antarctica, and setting that up. Like I think that like was a very strong and I think good direction to take. But yeah, that's where it gets iffy, where like we start introducing these other girls are involved, and the series starts off with Tamaki, who she herself, I believe, is supposed to be a foil to Shirase, who again were the main conflict. You know, you kind of have the main drama going on, where like the reason they're going to Antarctica is to find her mom or to find the truth about what happened to her mom on this expedition trip that probably gone wrong. And you know, and that kind of leaves Tamaki's role over like, okay, so why is she going on this? And you know, she's just like, I want to do something new. I get, you know what I mean? So those stakes are really off. And then the series goes on feeling the need to introduce these other two characters who kind of are kind of out of place, because then you're setting up like the reasons for X, and then the other reasons are giving are not so strong, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the series does lose its way in terms of like who like, yeah, again, who is the main character, or like who are the main characters, and it does feel disjointed in that regard, you know, and that does hurt, I think, its overall impact of what it wanted to do in the end. So, you know, that's sort of my overall feelings about the series. That said, like, yeah, I think with a lot of the things that surrounded Shirase, and all of those things that pointed to her, like, yeah, like, I'm like, this girl is the main character. This girl is this, like, why didn't the series just focus on her and her journey? Yeah, it did it. And, like, it tried to, like, lump in, like, all these other cast of characters we couldn't even name. And struggled to name. We were looking at the wiki page before this recording, right? So like it was just very funny to think about that. So I don't know. Like I think it feels very much like they wanted to do like a whole star-studded cast kind of situation. Like, here's these group of friends and here's all their different things. And for sure, again, thinking about like other, like, again, coming of age stories, again, Disney Channel, etc. You know, even Nickelodeon, right? Like all these kids networks try to do these original stories, or even stuff based on books. Like, there's always this imbalance issue when it's like, here's a group of friends, but then it's clear too, there's always that character that feels like the actual main character, and the group of friends there are just like the anchors, and they're all just archetypes, and that problem also shows itself here. But in this case, it also felt like a mislead, especially with starting off with Tamaki and centering around her. But then it felt like the real source of conflict and drama was Shirase in the end anyway, to the very end. And there wasn't really that overlap as to why they needed each other or why everyone else needed each other. So yeah, I could see what they were trying to probably do. But I feel like it would have been a stronger series. I wouldn't say that about the series as well. I feel like the direction of it would have been much stronger if it was more focused and was more willing to be more minimalist with its cast. It definitely feels like we got to throw in all these characters here to kind of fill in gaps where they didn't need to.
I felt that way minimalistically about a lot of the show. I think like there's always something happening in the show, like at all times, and I think like the best parts are when they give time to like sort of sit there with something in a way that's
and that would have been extremely poignant to emphasize because this is about going to Antarctica. This is about like that a job like that, expedition cruise. Like the whole there's a whole theme about loneliness and feeling alone in the world and finding answers because you're so and finding your and like more moments of silence. I think would have resonated so much with a lot of kind of the character struggles that and again specifically talking about Shirase too and her relationship and yeah to an extent to Tamaki like finding friendships etc. Like I think like if there were more of those quiet moments, especially with a more reduced cast, I think that would have made a lot of sense and that would have helped the series a lot and just resonating and repeating like the obvious themes it's going for.
I actually found myself thinking, like, very specifically how our complaints with Flowers of Evil, like the latter half of it especially, is it has a lot of just nothingness happening, like a lot of like long shots and a lot of nothing. I almost thought that would be better suited here, in some respects, especially when they're in Antarctica itself. A very cold, empty place. Yeah. I think it would have been a lot better to have those more long, sweeping, empty shots to reflect like the sort of vibes they're going for. But yeah, Maverick, I do want to hear you since you did. This is your rewatch. Since I think you said you watched it when it was airing.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, greatest anime of all time. One of the just standouts. 10 out of 10. No notes. I don't know where you're coming up with all these critiques. No notes, honestly. No, I think ultimately, like, this show really does have that push. I don't know why, as someone that watched it, and first off, I think we're all in agreement, like, watch this show when you get the chance. Like, this is still, end of the day, like, a should watch. Like, have it on your list, get to it at some point. Like, it is, for me, it's a solid 8 out of 10. Like, just overall, even with its hiccups and missteps, it is still a consistent original anime that, for the most part, like, knows what it wants to do with itself. Like, and it has such a strong arm forward that way, in comparison to a lot of, I would say, things that work similarly with it. I'm also thinking about the fact that, one of the things that we talked about as well was sort of like when it aired. This aired winter of 2018, and when you look at 2018 as a whole, you have a lot of continuing series. You have a lot of series that definitely had their own marks. It was the start of Darling in the Franxx, if you remember that. And so you see what sort of like came out at the end, and you sort of like appraise what's left. And it's like this definitely had a boost, I would say, when you look back and just sort of like contextualize what was airing. But also Eurocamp came out this year, and I feel like if we're talking about the usage of space and timing, if this series came out like a year or two after Eurocamp was already out, 10 out of 10 show, because it would be more willing to play with the silence.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be more willing to see like the breakout of another series that is so confident in what it wants to do. Because this isn't necessarily like a cute... it is a cute girls doing things show, but also it's the fact that it's coming to a specific narrative conclusion. And I don't know, like, I look at it as well with the fact that I watched this after I got back from a semester abroad in Australia, where, immediately Tamaki's frame of reference is immediately something I could connect with, where, and I think, too, like, it's easy to downplay sort of like, oh, yeah, we're in high school, but this is one of those moments where it's like, it's the unspoken part of, oh, yeah, you're in your second year. Like, after that, you're going to have to figure out a job, or if you're going to go to college. Adulthood is immediately on the onset. And so when we were talking about that, like, wasted, like, the very cliched passage of youth, that's still something that, like, to an extent, like, to as much as I can recognize why Tamaki would be desperate for anything, it's not, oh, it has to be that I'm going to Antarctica. She would have been content just skipping school. She would have been content just going to the beach for a day and just doing a skip day. But it's the ballooning and specifically seeing someone else so confident in this specific goal that it's like, shit, I'm going to tag along here and see what comes out of it. It might suck, but also I don't know unless I actually go ahead and follow through with it. And I think overall the show does have a message of living without regrets. And, as fantastical as it is, where it's like, we're going to get on this ice-breaking ship to get to Antarctica so that we can go and help, like, locate any piece of tech or passage that your dead mom left so that we can have that closure. Like, it is ramped up to 10, no lie. But also, it could have been, I'm going to spend a day just going off and, like, exploring Hokkaido, and maybe that'll let me say, I want to go to Hokkaido for college and a job. Like, I think what helps is that this isn't the thing that makes Tamaki go, and now I'm gonna be an Arctic researcher.
Yeah.
Because I think if it ended there, that would have sucked.
Definitely.
It's more so, I have this memory, I have this experience, and I have these friends now. And again, like, my other want would be for more definitive foils to Tamaki, because Shirase and Tamaki work off of each other very well between, unbound optimism because of the fact that there's no aim in my life, and, like, this news has hit me so hard that I'm super fixated on this, and that doesn't mean that I'm skilled at everything I do. I suck ass at a lot of things, but if you're going to challenge me on this one absolute that I have, that's when my fangs are going to come out, which is appreciative. Hinata and Yuzuki, the other companions that they make along the way, I think are still good roundings out of the cast, because, on one hand, this is still at least taking cues from, like, immediate analogs, Hitomari Sketch, Nanon Biori, Lucky Star. You have the whole ensemble. You can't just have the two. Otherwise, you also have to make it a romance, or, with air quotes, romance. But Hinata is this teenager who is working at the convenience store. She dropped out of school, but, has her equivalency certificate and is going to be taking exams so that she can still go to college. It's kind of whack that it does. Her whole thing is kind of just, I had to deal with senior bullshit and I decided to just leave. Like, at no point should I say grin and bear the bullying that you're suffering. But
like, we didn't even see the bullying, actually. Like, she overheard, like, shit talk, basically.
Yeah,
like, that
she
was
just heard
it.
about the third years getting upset, and, this person that we see is so confident wouldn't have the gall to just say, hey, why didn't you just do better than me? And then proceed to still do the thing that the coach, the person ultimately in charge of everything, wanted to do. It's always funny when those things come up, because I feel like if I were leading that situation, to be like, it's cute, but also I want to win. So I'm going to put the person that I know can help us win.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have this memory, why didn't you just, apply yourself? But
No, it was. I think I said this to you, but like in a world where we have so much anime that discusses bullying, and especially like knowing like, I obviously the discussion publicly was a lot after that about like how bad Japan's bullying was in like the last 20 years or so. Like the idea that this show couldn't even like create like a straw man to like
exactly, or
like
it's
have a bully is just so weird.
it's not great when I'm thinking that's it. There's not even any
Yeah.
sense of like trauma or abuse.
You just like pieced up like I said, like I really think like it should have reflected on the to a larger problem of like why is that the thing that breaks her, right? Like that's the type of character thing you want to look into. Like what is her home life like what else has gone on in her life that ended up here? But like it's like nope, this is all we get.
Yeah, because like that could at least be, and there's hints of it somewhat, where you get this idea of like the person that wants to make sure everything's okay because you can do it by yourself, but ultimately that's a facade that cracks because we're people. We need other people. The travel episode does a really good job of that, and I think that where like Hinata loses her passport specifically because she gave it to Shirase and forgot so, but leads to a lot of like not discommunication, but just like pride is a very palpable thing, as much as it's easy to wave it off in some cases, but it's an emotion. It is a sensation that's felt and can be the root for a lot of decisions. And so breaking through that barrier is important to learn, especially at a young age. That happening before the episode where her track team kind of just comes by to say like, hey, we're sorry, definitely feels like a weird like retread. And for that to be the moment where Shirase is just like, hey, fuck you. Like, it felt weird.
Yeah.
And then Yuzuki, I don't mind. She has good one-liners, but it's like, in the same way I wish like Hinata was focused more on this idea of being so self-reliant to a fault. Like, it would have been cool to see Yuzuki just be so numb to this idea of novelty. Because she's like a young idol, she's an actress, and again, there's hints of it. There's moments of it where it's like, oh, I have to do this dumb drama after we go and dock and finish up our part of the expedition. And by the end of it, she finds out that she has a fan on the deck who is like very excited for what she's putting out, which like, oh, cool. I have a one-to-one with what I'm actually doing and the fans that are actually like taking account of all that. It's not just noise to me anymore. But I think it would have been fun to sort of like roll that in even further with someone who's just like so disillusioned with the idea that like, oh wow, we're going to Singapore and Australia before we head to the Antarctic, and then only in it being like such a shit show because of the fact that you're on a boat for so long does that sensation come back in. Like, those are my immediate notes for how Hinata and Yusuke could have been made tighter overall.
Yeah. I think that's a great like lead in for. I wrote a bunch of notes for myself for this so that I would remember exactly what my thinking was, and I think I went off about this in the group chat. But I think if this show redid episodes 4 and 5 and had a lot more time, I think it would have done wonders for what they were doing. Obviously, that's like the fate of a lot of original anime. Mm-hmm. Is it's being made as it goes, stuff like that. But yeah, genuinely, my biggest problem with this show that really ended up like making me a little more aggressive about it than I would have been otherwise was there's this entire arc with Megami, who is Tamaki's friend, that is there's no reason for it to exist. Like, straight up, it doesn't add anything to the plot. It doesn't like intermingle with any of the ideas that the show is laying down. It wastes a lot of time, where Megami is basically, like, I guess, spreading lies about her to create... Again, they're not tangibly showing bullying, right? Again, they're not, like, tangibly showing, like, consequences of these actions. They're just saying they're happening. and it ends up with this weird arc where she's like, I don't know, we're not friends, but really like we are. It was very weird.
It's that thing where it's like, I want to cut it off because I still want to feel like I have control here.
Yeah.
I'm also recognizing that like you're growing up and I don't like that because I've liked to feel better than, like, again, if there's any semblance of, hey, career choices are coming up or college picks are coming up, what did you do? Oh man, I don't know, I've been too busy gaming all summer. Wow, can't believe that. Here's my, like, if there's at least this idea that Megumi like did have everything planned out, even if she didn't, if she was at least able to lie enough to say like, here's what I'll scribble down for like a major and a college, and it's just like the general college that everyone goes to do whatever else, like, that is at least a difference between the two people of wanting to keep up this charade that everything's fine when, uncertainty is like the thing that is so shaky or like scary about all this, and then just genuinely flustered, but is at least like truthful enough when there is something that is pushing her in a direction. Because I think that, again, that's the dichotomy I think they want. But then in actual execution, there's breadcrumbs that lead into it. And it relies a lot on, I think, the animation. It relies on suckers like me that like the combination of the voice delivery and it is acted well, I would say. But if I really did come, like, when we were here dissecting, it's like, yeah, no, there could have been more to build on it. It could have been done at karaoke, even.
Yeah, like you offered that as like it could have happened at karaoke, but I think that would have made it a lot better. But I just don't think it needed to happen at all. Unless it was actually going to reflect on this idea of Tamaki like sort of going through the motions of life, in a sense, which like you could read that subtext into what's shown, but it is not important, really.
They kind of touch back on it, where it's like, oh yeah, I still text her, and I'm not gonna lie, that actually did hit me some type of way of just like, yeah, I could text people again, I could reach out more. And then, at the end, surprise, Megumi went on her own trip to the Arctic.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. I don't know why she did that, but you know what? Sure.
I mean, hey, if you want to go check out the Northern Lights, that...
Yeah.
Probably went to, like, Iceland or something. See, that'll be the difference. Like, Tamaki goes on a whole shipbreaker cruise, and then Megumi's like, what can I do in Reykjavik?
You were saying the voice work for that scene, but I'd say in general the voice work is great here. They have Kana Hanazawa.
Yeah.
They have like Saori Hayami. They have everyone who would be in a show like this, basically, and they're all really good. They all have a lot of great affectations. I think like my prevailing problem with the show was that rather than have those moments of emptiness or like reflection or stop, they fill it with a lot of shoujo trope bits that like really undermine what I think is like really smart writing. I think there's a lot of like smart ideas in the show and an emotional core that is very strong, and they're constantly just like whittling away at it by just having these weird like relics of a genre that they don't need to be beholden to, of like that, like the fight with her friend, like the like entire episode where like ultimately it was about Shirase connecting with Gin, the leader of the project, but it was still like, we have to introduce this via like a dude has a crush on her or whatever. Like, why does this matter? Like, it's never going. It's going to come up as one joke again.
They don't
later.
say any names. No man has a name here.
Yeah, and that's also something that frustrates me, because it's like, I get it. This is a fundamentally not a cute girls doing cute girls thing, but they're still going for it in a way. So there's no guys, and it's just like.
I mean, like, even then, it's like you look at other cute girls doing cute things shows, and you can still have some of them. I mean, again, it's funny that in Bochi's case, her dad physically does not have a face.
Yeah.
But then, like Eurocamp, you at least get Rin's grandpa.
Yeah.
the families in Eurocamp too were actually emphasized as pretty present. I felt like, I think especially towards the recent stuff of it. Like, but yeah,
I think that's another thing that I have a note here that I have written down. Tamaki's family frustrated me a great deal at the beginning. I don't think they knew what they were doing with it. I think that in a series where like it's very important to this girl Shirase that she, you know, tries to figure out her feelings about her mother over the course of the series. It's insane to have this absolutely fake manga family, basically, that she has. Where her mom is evil, I guess, but not. It's just a joke or whatever.
yeah,
And like lets her just go to Antarctica with like barely any like actual meaningful discussion between them. Like this idea of like I'm sorry, like maybe I'm just insane, but if my child was like, I want to go to Antarctica, I think we would have a long form discussion, not just, okay, do good on your tests. Like, that's crazy. Like it's going to fucking Disneyland or something.
Yeah,
like,
no, like, again, tinges of, like, edges of realism there, where it's not the actual, like, it's not the fucking, I've got you at knife point
yeah,
scene, but like, the, oh god, your room's a mess, everything's going, like, and it's like, you know, worry. Love can be represented as worry sometimes, and when you write it well, you can feel that. But
here it's just relying on the shoujo manga joke stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we can't just have her living alone. We need to be able to show the dynamic until we have to until she can go off and like set sail.
Yeah. Similarly, Shiraishi's problems with friendship, I think, are her strongest point. I think that's a good point to have in a show like this, of like struggling to, especially as like a child actor type character.
Oh yeah, that's so well done.
Very well done, realistic stuff. Like, I think the way that they just completely ignore it for the rest of the series after they leave is frustrating because of how like effective it was. I think her conversation still later in like episode 10, I think, where she's like, wait, you were all best friends? When was that decided? I must have fucked up or something. Like, I thought that was great. Like, that's like a good emotional conversation, but it's like, I feel like there is a world where it's like she can be a foil to Shirase in a sense where like her mom's alive and she's like very frustrated by her in a way. Like, I think that is an angle that could have been explored there, because her mom is just sort of like this weird controlling force that they then just ignore in the end. There's a lot of dropped ideas throughout the thing. I think, let me see, what else did I write down here? In general, I wanted more of them in Antarctica. The fact that there are penguins in episode 12 only is insane. Or 13,
Right.
sorry, episode 13.
Yep. Fucked up.
I didn't want them to like go hard in on the science. I just wanted them to do a lot more menial tasks that could then hear what I said specifically. With oh my god, why can I never remember? There's so many names. Track girl.
Hinata.
Hinata. So Hinata, I think it would have been a lot more meaningful if her problems were coming from her hearing someone like very casually shit talk her or something about something she was doing on the trip wrong. And then that would trigger her into a memory sequence or something like that. I think in general, like having more focus on like things you are continuing to do, like explain or help you find context for your problems in the past would be better. I thought it was insane that those three girls that she apparently hadn't talked to in a year somehow knew to get in touch for the Antarctica live stream communication.
Yeah, I figure it would have been some sort of like, I think the implication was that it was posted on the convenience store.
Yeah.
Like when
But-
she comes back and like, oh, the manager like is welcoming me back. Awesome.
Yeah. But like,
But no, that's definitely such a reach. Just
and it's unnecessary also is like my
Yeah.
point, like of just like I think that there are ways to naturally bring it out through what they're doing over there in a way that would have made it more compelling. I think there is a real lack of integration between these two ideas, and I think it is effective to have this idea of like it is ultimately a means to an end, right? For the point of the story of like coming of age stuff, finding yourself, whatever. It's like it's not about like the fact that they are in Antarctica, but I think you can still use the setting in a way that they don't. I think some of the most effective stuff is when they are dealing with the adults consistently. I think this show does a good job of reflecting like real life anxieties, but not like severe anxieties like Bochi or something, but like realistic, like the travel episode, right? Or just the consistent thing of the idea of like you're constantly hearing like this thing, or we're going somewhere and it feels too good to be true, so we're going to believe every single thing where people are saying the project is failing, we don't have money, it's not going to happen, they're going to send us back home, like all this stuff, over and over again. I think that part's really good. They nail that.
Yeah, I like when it revels in these small moments, like the fact that like Shirdase's first words when she steps foot in Antarctica aren't something profound. It's just in your face, like because those like I can definitely point to the moments where it's like I can be proud, I can be so like profound with this moment. But first and foremost, fuck the haters.
Yeah, for real. No, definitely. I think Shirase is the best character easily. I can understand why Tamaki is the main character, but I think Shirase should have been, really.
I feel like having that level of distance helps amplify her more, because if we got more interiority, I think it would have started to wane a bit.
I could definitely see that. I just think like it should have gone further for an ensemble than, if not one main, because I just don't think Tamaki cut it for me.
Yeah.
As like she is serving a purpose, like she felt like a narrative object to me more than a character who you get to learn how and why she is doing the things she's doing. Like I think that was the core of my frustration for a lot of this, is similar to the Lizzie McGuire movie thing, where they get to go to Rome, right? It was the same thing of like, this girl gets to do this amazing thing and she doesn't even want to. Mm-hmm. Like this idea of like, and that's fine. That's like everyone should be able to, but it was like this idea of like having to be like she doesn't even care about Antarctica, really. Like, and that was definitely frustrating for me as a main character. Like, I think it's saved a little by her, like, obviously being a very empathetic person and wanting to support others, and like her support of Shirase, like, really consistently being really good. But it was something that definitely like kept this show from like really hitting for me. That said, obviously, like, I think, like, in episode 12 is fantastic. Everything with Shirase's resolution to her stuff is, like, really great and realistic. Like, I've experienced a very similar thing to Shirase when she's going through her laptop that her mom left in that cave. World's strongest laptop, by the way.
Holy shit! Yeah,
the battery is made of like
that battery is like the fucking like unobtainium battery that.
When you go to Antarctica, you need the best laptop.
Yeah. Also, small thing, their cell plan crazy. I don't know if they explained it like at any point. I don't think they did, because I was like trying to pay attention, and my understanding is you have to get a satellite phone like relay type deal set up.
When people do like remote field work like that, you're in the fucking middle of nowhere. Antarctica.
No way you'd get instant texts and like read notifications and stuff, which is fine. It's totally fine. I was just thinking like, god damn, they have like a really good cell plan.
They got that 6G there. No, again, not to bring up the Lizzie McGuire, but no, again, the crazy polarizing thing about that movie, not polarizing, again, that movie's insane fun, it's whatever, but if you think about it too hard, it's jarring, because, again, in the actual series, they don't do anything insane like that. They don't go, like, anywhere, like, they don't have insane trips like that. Like, these are, again, it's just a totally normal, down-to-earth, like, teen comedy, slice-of-life teen comedy, and, like, so the movie is just, like, this bizarre, grandiose thing that like, oh yeah, we gotta ship these kids off, and which again, another weird commonality for I think a lot of like kids entertainment at that point in time, where like you got the series, again, normal, down to earth, pretty believable setup and setting. And then for some reason, the finale, the series finale or movie, has to do something insane. Like we gotta take these kids to space. Like how else are we gonna say, And for sure, like it feels that way here too. What you were just talking about with Tamaki, and how like did she, like the question of like, does she deserve that payoff? Like was she like, why did we need to go that far? Yeah, for sure.
It was just very strange vibes to me. I can definitely see why, like, if you're able to not get frustrated by that, like this would be just wholly like really, really good. But it was just like all those little things like ended up making me be like, that was good. It was good. There are parts of it that I really like, but I do really get frustrated when I like see like, this could have been better because of XY, but that's the life of a fucking analyze critic, whatever, right? Like that's what we do.
Burdened with the gift of sight.
Yeah. John, sorry to keep you away for so long. I do want to hear your thoughts as well.
It's kind of hard to say because y'all kind of just covered everything. I don't know. I mean, I too just thought it was okay.
What did you think about the lunch lady?
She was nice, I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't really have too much to say about it. Like, I just thought it was fine. Like, I don't know. I had seen so many people saying that this was like one of the best animes that I've ever seen, and I was just like, it's okay. It's fine. It's good. I liked it, but I'm never gonna like watch it again. I'm not really gonna think too hard about it ever again.
Yeah. I think what Maverick said about like really its place in that season is definitely why it has so much like if you hadn't seen an amazing anime all year, let's say, and then you saw this, I could definitely see like conflating it a little more in your mind. But
I don't know. I think the way that anime is being released these days and how we're just being flooded by shit, and even like the true classics that are coming out lately are still kind of getting like forgotten as time goes on. Like fucking Mob Psycho just ended, and like I think that's like legit one of the best shows I've ever seen, period. And like it's just kind of like people talk a little bit about it, but it's not getting as like high regard as I think it should have. But like I just think that anime releases today are so fucked up that it's hard to really recognize what's really great. But I guess maybe at the same time, maybe it's also hard to not to see what isn't like sensational masterpiece work. Because, again, I just thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean.
No, like, I agree with you of, like, this idea of, like, even if I can see, like, the merits in this, it was, like, there was that knee-jerk for me, extremely, like, immediately of, like, this is what everyone said was amazing. Like... and, like, the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, like, I can see why a lot of people thought it was great, and especially it's probably easier when you're watching week to week. I think, Robin, my wife, was talking about it in a way that I really made a lot of sense to me of like when you're watching that week to week when it hasn't finished, you have this vibe of like anything could happen in this show. And when it's completed and it's done and you know that it has an ending, you're aware of like broad strokes of what had happened. So then it feels like a lot less fantastical. In a way that, like, I could totally see a sense of wonder from its original airing.
Oh, definitely. Like, it didn't happen, or I joked about it, that first episode where everything's going on and, like, the first, like, insert music sting, and I'm just like, oh, God, they're getting back to me. Oh, no. I am immediately back in 2018 just bawling my eyes out. over just like the set piece, and like it would be that moment where it's like, I better not hear that guitar towing. Oh, I'm hearing it. Oh no, it's coming, and whatever happens. But also it's like, I think about the fact that I'm sitting here like, wow, what a great show, and then 6 years pass, and only now do I come back and watch it again, even though like it is easily one of the most peddled things on Crunchyroll whenever I log on. If I open Crunchyroll right now, will it show up?
If I open the VRV app every single time without fail, it is on the front page. Yeah,
Okay,
it's right there.
It's around. It's somewhere. You can always find it somewhere.
I'm sure if you go to popular, it's probably there somewhere.
Right. But, yeah. It is good to come back to this wanting to get more insight.
Mm-hmm. I think that really is like getting into it. Like there really is this idea of like, it's crazy to think about the difference between watching something week to week or like playing a game as soon as it comes out versus like playing it later or watching it later. Like it really is just a completely different vibe. And like there are like, classics, like I said earlier, Kiss a Giga, that's a great one where like I felt like that was amazing the first time whenever we all watched that for the show. But like it's still a different experience, this idea of like what is going to happen with this original series. And like that is definitely a point in this show's favor for me to keep me from being like super aggressive, is like, this is a good original anime. Like,
yeah.
I'm always beating the drum of the fucking aquarium anime is the worst thing I've ever seen, maybe. Like, it would have been very easy for this to be nonsensical. And in a sense, this is almost too sensical in a lot of stuff. Like, it's a little too, like, down to earth. But I think it's great with that stuff. And I'm just glad that, like, I wish this was what, like, if we're being forced to have 7 million anime every season, can we like at least have more stuff like this?
Yeah,
is like really, but like obviously this is a cause and effect, right? Like we're not getting any of that because there's a million anime coming out. They're all working on all these like adaptations and stuff, but I really would like more stuff like this to exist in the world. But yeah, let me just double check my notes real quick to see if there was anything else weird I wanted to say. Why did that guy have a CD for her to sign? It is 2018 and they went to Antarctica. He could only bring limited amounts of things. He brought the CD.
How did he know she was going to be there?
Player.
Why doesn't he have an iPod? How did he know? Yeah, I mean, maybe he didn't know. It was just sheer chance. I think in general they don't do enough with her being an idol.
If Japan is the last bastion of the CD, if we're going to be real here.
Okay, you're probably right. There is this focus on physicality, right, over there. I did forget about
DVDs.
Yeah, and there's
still actively buy DVDs, and like that is part of the push.
Yeah, I mean, all idol stuff is entirely derived on like you buy the most merch, right? So
yeah,
fair enough.
I think a lot about the sequence before they fully go to Antarctica, where they're like in the exhibit. And my mind immediately went back to Asteroid in Love.
Yeah, okay.
And they had the exact same sequence in that series. Except in Asteroid in Love, it really made that look way worse. Because in Asteroid in Love, like, they did the same technique, though, in this series. In a place where they did the same technique where a lot of the backgrounds were clearly, like, photos of the actual exhibit. I bet they went on location to photos of. But they stylistically, like, they probably traced over it, but I don't know. Or it could have been just really good draftsmanship, but they clearly looked like reference from an actual photo. In Asteroid in Love, they clearly just put a filter. They didn't put
They sure did.
They sure did. I think it was the exact same exhibit.
I think so. And now that you say that, I think you are correct. Yes.
Oh my god!
You know-
oh my god!
that is a point in the show's favor again. Of it's not like Asteroid in Love, where it's like this nonsensical thing that doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, here's
again,
a weird
like
science end result that doesn't really happen. But like,
Yeah.
those girls don't even hold. They do hold hands. Those girls hold hands so many times.
Yeah.
That it was the most heterosexual gayest series. I think.
yeah,
It was so upsetting.
it was insane. I really do wish that there had been more moments like the very ending when they're all watching the northern or southern lights, I guess, the Aurora Borealis. I think the show just
actually,
needed more.
Antarctica specific things, like you were saying, like why the fuck were the penguins only the last?
And she loves the penguins. Like she
loves the
fucking loves
penguins.
them.
I like GPOY. Like what was going on? Why? Where was? Like just not actually showing like a hands-on. Why are these people here? You know, like very strange. Like so many science camp basically opportunities that they didn't really do.
And again, if they had just removed episode 4 and 5 and they just got to
They could have had
Antarctica
extra
quicker,
episodes to do that, yes.
I think yeah, that was the main thing I was just thinking about the entire time. Is just like if this just had a little bit more on the tail end, because the second half is a lot better than the first half. Like immediately, like it is a big step up as soon as they get on the boat. Like there's a real shift, and I wish that it had more in that back half. But yeah, all right. I guess that is that, as it were. Did we want to move on then to the show proper? Mm-hmm. Okie dokie.
Anybody shout outs anything out?
I mean, wait, yeah, we do have a question. Sorry,
Okay,
I'm a little out of it.
that's okay.
All right, yeah, if you want to send in a question, you can go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. You'll sound like this. Century Punk asks, Antarctica, or no, this is not an ask. I'm sorry. This is a
That's fine, yeah.
It's a say.
reply. Okay.
An opinion, yeah.
Yes. Antarctica anime had some of the best storyboarding and scene composition I've ever seen in a TV show, but I feel some of that masterclass quality worked against itself when the show often devolved into very anime tropey storylines. I think if the main character had any perspective for us to see the world through, it would have been more interesting. She was so boring. Shirase, though, was a great real character. Was great. What a real character. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. I agree. I think I do realize like through talking with Maverick a little more, I can see the value in Tamaki, definitely, but
Again, it's more so that like I can recognize that, you know, I was pointing at Tamaki and going, she's just like me for real,
yeah,
for real.
Fair enough. Like, yeah, as soon as you said I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, like,
well, no, because for me, it's like, you know, I was going through college, and then there was a point where I kind of like, I think I kind of maybe hate my friends right now. I need to do something to distance myself. Oh, I have the option to go to Australia. I'm going to take that option. And, you know, this is also in the middle of, like, working out my feelings of, like, the Trump administration just popping off and a lot of other, like, there were so many, like, things juggling around. But ultimately it came back to this idea of, like, you know, I want to do something and at least be comfortable in saying that I did it. Not regretting that regardless of whether or not it was a good or bad experience, being able to say, I did it. And Tamaki providing that perspective, you know, is good. Does it make for the most compelling character? No, of course not. But does it make for a frame of reference that is, like, something that is not often, like, looked at? Yeah, definitely.
I think that harkens back to like Rose's complaint about like Tamaki's family dynamics like was not really well developed. Yeah, like if that I think like if that was fleshed out more, I think that really gives a lot of give to her character now that you describe it, basically being an avatar for someone to kind of see themselves in. But for sure, she's definitely already miles above like most of the vanilla sliced bread men characters and like other anime anyway. Yeah. She does actually have a personality, but for sure, I think like more oomph to like some of these struggles that I personally also feel like were not executed in a way that I think really emphasized like, oh, okay, she's like a vessel for like anyone who's kind of like anyone who's in this adolescent stage too, that I can see that. Yeah.
And I think it's also good that, like, for the most part, it's a vision that isn't just kept to adolescents. Like, this is a whole ship made out of people who were on that expedition 3 years ago, and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have a day job. I have an experience, but it's like, I want to go continue this. I don't want to think about... Like, there's the character who is actively in, like, agony because of the fact that she's away from her boyfriend, but she's still there choosing to go and continue this because, like, you know, that push and pull of influence in terms of, like, what when you want to go and do something can still have a greater effect to everything else going on. Mm-hmm. And it's nice that it doesn't belittle that experience and instead highlights that everyone is a little fucked up to want to do this, but also for the stuff that really matters, you do kind of have to be a little fucked up.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Rip to Tamaki's bangs, though.
Yeah.
really just... Oh, I did this. It makes so much sense.
All right. That was A Place Further Than the Universe. Mm-hmm. And now we can talk a little bit about you guys went to go see Kaguya Love is War. Is it First Kiss That Lasts Forever? Was that what it was called or something like that?
The First Kiss That Never Ends.
There we go. That's it. Yep. Yeah, how was it? I saw you say that it was basically just a long episode, John, which is sort of what I figured would be the case.
Yeah, it was just pretty much a long episode. I don't know, I probably have to rewatch it though. But it was good from what I can recall. It was more the romance aspect than the comedy aspect, so you know it was still funny. Like there were definitely still some laughs, but it definitely wasn't like it wasn't like a back to back jokes. It was a bit more serious. I don't know what else to say.
That's okay. Maverick, what are your takes? What are your thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. So, to give a little bit of context, this is one of the this is like a sequel film. Think Mugen Train, think God, what else is doing that lately? The upcoming iterations of, I guess, the Haikyuu series are doing this, where rather than just be like a compilation movie or a completely original story that's non-canon, they're choosing to adapt a particular moment or set of chapters and make that the next installment before, you know, the following series continuation. And here is the arc, a very crucial one, but also one I think that works well with the format of a movie, where we're just past the school festival, and also spoilers for Kaguya-sama, but I mean, watch Kaguya-sama if you haven't already. It's a great, fun show. The manga also as well. Like, knowing what comes up after this movie has me really excited with how they're going to handle it. But basically, after the school festival where Kaguya kissed Shinomiya with tongue, that's the important part. You can't forget that she slipped some tongue in there.
Shirogane,
thank you.
She tongued herself.
You know, sometimes... Listen,
I wouldn't put it past her. That would be a realistic arc for her, I think, also.
But yeah, Kaguya slips a little adult love into Shirogane, and as a result of that, panics so hard that she reverts into little Kaguya, who is just this super deformed version of herself that is just in agony over the events. But this all is in service of the main crux of this arc, where because of Kaguya's upbringing, she has had to make so many different personas and iterations of herself in order to just cope with being the daughter, not successor, but daughter to the to an entire conglomerate like powerhouse, and the expectations put forth by being the sole lady in that powerhouse, and like the conflict between that and having to come across these very benign feelings, or not benign, but just like very goofy and comedic stylings. Like the whole crux of what makes the show so fun is the fact that this expected member of society doesn't know how like anything works and doesn't know how to actually do anything, but is still wanting to engage in a regular relationship. That brushes up to a point where ultimately she reverts back to like who she was before meeting Shirogane, this very like cold and distant person, and it feeds to this the whole issue then is now like, can you still find love with like the parts of a person that you don't want to show all the time? And it also leads a lot into like Shirogane's situation. I think like it's the first time that we really delve into his family life and what sort of like builds a lot of his character, and also getting to the fact that, after this point, like the show is forever changed. No longer is it a back and forth game of cat and mouse. Dynamics are changing in a lot of spaces, honestly. There's a bit of that, which I'll get to in a moment, but overall, like, whatever comes after this, one, I'm excited for as someone that's already read the manga, and it gets into some Oran territory in terms of just the audacity of how they develop stuff. But two, I think it's good whenever a rom-com is able to continue, like, getting the couple together isn't the end. It's only going to be setting up additional stakes and additional world building, character building, that'll lead to whatever the culmination truly has to become for that story. And it's good that Kaguya is one of those that manages to escape, ending once the first kiss is there. It's the first kiss that never ends, because they're also making sure you see more than just, we're happy now.
I still haven't finished the manga itself, but I think that, I'm excited to see more of it adapted, because I think there should be more, quote unquote romance anime like Kaguya. I think it has a lot of the, right ideas behind it, even when it's being jokey about it all. Obviously, like the show, I feel like that, the manga, the series gets a little more serious now, but it's still itself.
Yeah, but again, it's in that way where it's like, it's serious, but in the construct of where it's set.
Yeah.
Where you have just this like billionaire company in a school full of social elites. Like there's a grounding, but then it'll still have fun. Like we're getting to the point where the dad becomes a YouTuber.
Yeah, so good. So fucking good.
Like here we get a little bit where he's a psychic. And they do some of that. It's also interesting the way that for this adaptation, they lean more into the Kaguya and Shirogane side of things. Because concurrent to all this, there's actually some building of just the dynamics for the other members of the student council. And specifically, like, there's this other Christmas party that's going on that the treasurer and the secretary come into. Ino and Ishigami get invited to it because Ishigami's crush, Tsubasa, invites him over. He already, like, accidentally giving this conceit of, like, in 3 months you can tell me how you feel. Because what he really means is, oh, in 3 months we can go watch the cherry blossoms. They're pretty good around that time. Like, Ishigami, one of my faves, but like we only get bits and pieces, and I'm curious if that's going to be the crux for whatever the actual like anime series that follows up is going to focus on, because it definitely does not get into the specifics, and their story then also leads into a lot of like character introductions and scene like stylistic choices. There's a lot, but I think choosing to cap it at, we got to be able to like definitively say Kaguya and Kaguya and Shirogane are a couple now.
Yeah,
I think that was a smart move.
I think really the thing I love about Kaguya is like a weaker Kaguya would have made that the actual end of the series. But they're smarter than that. I think in general, like Kaguya maintaining its tone after this event and then like keeping itself is like really good. And that's sort of like what I mean of like what I like about it being a romance work like that is just like there's such a focus in romance media that this idea of like you accomplished the goal, you finished it, now it's done, and now everything's going to be completely different or whatever. But it's not, it's just an adaptation.
I mean, what's good is that as well, like, it escapes the idea of happily ever after, because it really goes into this idea of like, oh no, you're just one other link in this greater network. How do you then work with the rest of the network?
Yeah.
And that leads to some really fun stuff. Again, like that is where it gets kooky in a really fun way.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to finally see that whenever it comes out on the streaming service, which will just be Crunchyroll, because I'm sure they organize this themselves or something.
Oh yeah, they had their little logo in there.
Makes sense.
John, what are some of the movie trailers that you got?
I didn't get any. As soon as I got there, it started.
Oh right, you got there a little fast.
Oh, you missed it.
Well, no, there were like no trailers beforehand.
Really?
No, yeah, they didn't do trailers at all.
Wow.
Where? Oh,
you missed out on what I assume is going to be making the cycles. Woody Harrelson training a group of disabled basketball athletes, and the trailer has 2 instances of going, well, they're just a bunch of, hey, that's a not good word to use here in 2023. What? Twice.
Whoa.
Holy smokes. Well, what would you expect from Woody Harrelson?
I don't know. Not that.
I can't believe they're still making like motivational sports movies like that. Or like, is that what the why in 20? Okay.
I mean, you can make you can make the motivational sports movie, but it depends. Like Sandler and Hustle, his was like a different kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I get that too. Like I feel like any like anime screenings I've seen, and I guess because like they're always in like some sort of special theater, like IFC, for instance, so there aren't really trailers before it, if not just like a reel of like ads for that venue, or local events. I guess it depends.
Oh my god, you reminded me though. Next month we're getting a Shinkai like, I forget the name of it already.
Really?
And then and then in April we're getting chair anime.
Oh boy.
Chair anime.
I still can't get over finding
that was a trailer.
Yeah, for the chair. It's a movie. It's the chair movie.
Shinkai project.
Oh,
yeah, it's the next actual Shinkai one. I cannot get over finding out that was supposed to be a Yuri one, and someone told him that lesbians don't sell, so he said okay and changed it. I like the cowardice on that man. No respect, no dignity. Not that I want a Yuri chair anime movie, to be clear.
I know what you mean. That said, I wouldn't trust him.
No, I wouldn't either. But it's
I think this
message.
is better for everyone.
It is.
Involved.
It is.
Again, I love Your Name, but that man does indeed have a very broken brain, I think.
Here's the thing: it's like,
I totally actually agree with a lot of people's criticisms of Shinkai.
you can make
Well, no,
it
that's the
once.
thing, like, yeah, Your Name I can still like hold somewhat dearly. When I watched Weathering with You,
I avoided that.
You're just like, dude,
I've
you need
heard
to
it,
get
I was
over
like,
her.
no.
Like,
oh god,
And also climate change. I don't know what's going on there. Climate change was invented. I don't know what's going on in the movie. And I just heard things that I'm like, I'm not gonna touch it.
if there were ever something that we wanted to do, not as like, you know, the monthly, but as like a straight up, we need to like record our reactions to this. Weathering with You is a top one of those.
yeah.
But for sure, he's a name. I think that he's a great artist, but probably should not be a writer, or one of those men who like you
need to rein him in.
You gotta bring a woman in here. Bring her in. Where is she?
I feel
Name a woman.
I feel like almost all of Japanese auteur culture, I mean, like worldwide auteur culture, could be solved by we need to bring a woman in here.
Name one
You know who
woman.
made the story for Further in the Universe? A woman.
Yeah, it's again, you can
Yeah.
tell. I think.
No, yeah. Again, the girls are fine. I think it's like they're it's the direction that was.
It's standard story pratfalls, not weirdo stuff that you'd.
Yes, they were pretty normal.
Yeah. There's not a weird fetish going on with one.
Right.
LV, would you like to talk about one of
Yeah,
your?
speaking of weird fetishes.
Yeah, you want to talk about weird fetishes? Go right ahead.
With time withstanding, I think I need to talk about the most insane thing I've been watching, and I think I now need to commit watching to. That it's one of the new series of the past season, right? Or a lot of series right now, kind of like almost near their halfway point, right? If they're a 12 to 13 episode core, right? This rom-com, though there's not a lot of comedy elements so far. I don't know what's going on here. I guess this is shoujo. The angel or showed, I don't know, what would you categorize these things anyway these days, right? The Angel Next Door spoils me rotten. It's based on a light novel. I don't know if the light novel is ongoing or not, but it's based on a light novel. Again, you got this archetypal story. It takes place in a high school. You got these two high school students. Boy meets girl. Girl meets boy. Will they fall in love? Yeah. Right? And the story starts off with this, with our, I'm not even going to bother with their names. This is a boy and this is a girl.
Fair enough.
All you need to know. And it's raining, and he sees basically the popular girl, and I don't know if popular is the right word. There's a particular type of girl, like in anime, and like what they keep describing, like the high school archetype, right? She's the popular, but she's like refined, she's graceful, like people respect her a lot. Like, oh my gosh, all the girls love her and want to be her friend, or more than a friend. And she's just out in the cold, and he gives her an umbrella. Like, oh, sweet, how cute. And she remembers that. Next day, they're on to their own lives. They kind of imply he's like a schmuck. Like, he's like, he's but not really. Like, he's just like whatever. He's like a below average. He's not even a below. He's just an average guy. I don't know what they're. But anyway, he's just someone who's like a wallflower. He doesn't want to be noticed. He is very much the guy who he's the guy who sits in that corner desk by the window. That shot. That's it. He doesn't want to be noticed, right? But then as a result of his encounter with the popular girl, like, he got sick. He got a cold. Because a cold just magically appears the next day, as it works from being in the rain. And he's fucked up and sick. So then after that, he's like bedridden. He can't really go to school. And then the fucking girl, she just shows up in his apartment. He goes into his sick sleepness, whatever. He wakes up. She's just over him. She's somehow got in his apartment. She somehow got in his bedroom. They don't explain it, and he's like, weird, why are you here? He's not panicked at all. He's like, sure, okay. And she's like, I have to help you. I have to return the favor and help you out. I feel so bad for you. Look at you. You're miserable. Look at you, sad little puppy thing. I'm going to clean your apartment. This bitch goes full domesticated mode, helping this guy out. I'm starting to laugh because I'm hysterical about this. It's like, what is going? She just got in his apartment. What the fuck is going on?
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Like, okay. Anyway, this is literally the rest of the show. She's like, you were so nice to me. I gotta like help you out. And he's like, no, don't help me out. And not even in like a resistant kind of way. He's just like, I don't get why this girl is so nice to me kind of way. And she's just going to his apartment, cleaning his house, and helping him shop for groceries, and at some point, like, they kind of do raise. This is kind of weird. Can we stop and actually, it was more like a perception thing, not less of like him questioning why is she like this, but more like, what do people see us? What do people see me, this loser guy with this popular girl in public in the Family Mart, the Japan 7-Eleven, right? Like, and then she's like, oh, okay, I'll stop. But then she visits him again anyway, and she almost trips on his mess. And she's like, see, this is why I need to help you, because I gotta clean and help your So anyway, this whole series is about men needing moms to clean up after them. That's the whole series. This whole series is like this pretty girl just helping this loser. And again, he's not even really he's just a normal guy who, like, once in a while, his room is a mess. Oh no, I get it. Some days it do be like that. Some days it's just a mess. But she really is just like, I'm going to help him in his apartment every day because he needs my help. And then, of course, like, they slowly reveal her background. Like, she's like a rich girl, and she's like, well, we always had a housekeeper, and I was never given this opportunity. It's like, what? This whole series is a trad wife series. There is no, and like, to top it all off, like, okay, you do you, sure, this is a weird, what if a nice girl just helped me clean up my mess thing, like, but these two characters have no personalities. And that's what makes it worse.
That's very weird. Like, why did it get made?
That's what makes it worse. These are the Toradora motherfuckers, but what if those two had no personality?
Yeah, what if nothing was going on?
What if nothing was going on? A couple episodes in, everyone's like, oh my god, dude, are you dating? And he's like, no. And then everyone else around him is like, what? Everyone else is trying to, everyone else has a personality but these two. Everyone else is like, what is going on? Yo, that's wild. She went to your house, and he's like, no. There's like, he has nothing at all to, like, it is so insane. And then she's just here as her one-dimensional, I have to help him, cleaning fair. It's I'm losing my mind. It's like, so, and I'm gonna still watch it. Like, I'm like, what else is this series not gonna do? It is truly buck wild.
It's the antithesis to, like, America's favorite reality show that is now airing on Fox, as I learned from the Super Bowl, Farmer Wants a Wife.
Farmer Wants a Wife. I've also learned about this.
Oh my god, that shows that. Oh my god, I'm gonna watch that too. Like, that insane Farmer Wife.
Of course you are.
What is going on?
Well, here's the thing: we got an episode, like, after the Super Bowl, we watched an episode of fucking Next Level Chef, and that was mind-numbing.
My friend
Gordon Ramsay does not need to do anything else anymore. Like, he had his time. He needs to take a break and have some anger.
We were kind of there just asking about the premise, and then we get a bit where. Anime. I mean, it's kind of food warsy, actually.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
The conceit is you have this, like, platform in the middle of, like, this 3-tiered kitchen, because you have the bottom kitchen, the middle kitchen, and the top kitchen. Top kitchen is fine. It's great. The middle kitchen definitively has, like, the best lighting, and so, like, that's where Gordon Ramsay is, naturally. But,
yeah, that's the highest level of heaven or something. I don't know.
Not middle, surprisingly, has it, like... like, his gray hair, like, gets a nice little sheen to it. But, like, not the best stuff, not the worst stuff. Bottom kitchen is just, like, heat lamps. It's all yellow, and it's, like, made to look like this fucking, like, pigsty. But not really. But, the center of ingredients, like the pedestal, like, descends down through the tower. And then it's, like, top kitchen, you have this much time to get to your ingredients, and then when time's up, it'll just go down. And so, like, if you're in the middle of grabbing something, it'll be like, oh no, I can't get it, and it'll keep going through. And then whenever you have to finish your dish, it goes top up. And so you have like bottom kitchen, you have 5 seconds to put your meals on the center of the dish to get judged, and everyone's like rushing to get stuff in. Middle kitchen, they have like 15 seconds, and then I think like top kitchen has like a whole minute to get their stuff in. But then there's some in the middle kitchen that like was delaying because they were like trying to get their shrimp looking right, and so they just toss it in, and it just ruins like it and like another plate. Like, we popped off and we're like, oh no. That's anime to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this show doesn't have that. This show doesn't have any highs or lows. It's just this girl who's like, I need to help this boy. And then that's every episode. That's literally every episode. And like, in such a way that is like nothing. Like, he's not even, there's nothing wrong with him. She's just doing so much just to say, oh, I like this guy. I think I have a crush. She is doing way too much. Like, and not in such a way where like when I saw this, I also laughed at myself. I was like, oh my god, yeah. Like, again, thinking about like a lot of other people in my life and myself, and as a woman, like, oh my god, yeah. There were times in my life where I was like doing too much for a guy that I didn't need to do much for. Mm-hmm. That wasn't even that. This man is literally okay. This boy is doing fine. He's not hurting her. She's not. Yeah, it is very silly. And from my read of like this being based on a light novel, there's also it was a piece of writing that is so dependent on like, I think, the monologue and the main character, where that personality is lost in the series. But regardless, like, it is truly it's weird to say this is the craziest series I've seen. Out of everything that's like, this is crazy. No, this is crazy because it is a nothing series.
Yeah, it's like, how does this get made? Yeah, like, what, like, it's not just like, you could find a million light novels like this, I'm sure, but it's like, this got an anime adaptation, and you're like, why? What?
And you know, like, and my recollection too of watching something like Tonikawa to the Moon, where we're like, oh yeah, there's the similar feel of like, yeah, sure, this is just a whatever fluffy light series about a couple where they're not really doing anything, there's no sex, but at least Tonikawa 2 will actually, they had personality, like, and there was that whole like, you know, carry on a stick. Like, is there something supernatural going on with this girl? Is she like, you know, and then they had a whole cast of other characters too that were kind of also fulfilling like a lot of these different like personalities, and like some mini stakes that happened indeed along the way in that a series like that. This truly is just like, what if I had a girl like that? You know, wish that were me for real, right? You know, like, it is very silly. It is very silly.
But then the guy isn't even like, I wish I had that girl. He's just like,
yeah, he's just like, okay.
Like, why is she showing up to my apartment? Yeah, why is she still there? Yes.
Elvie,
are you excited for Tonikawa season 2? I saw that it was announced.
I realized it has. I don't know. They're really. Oh man. I think there is a movie too. I could be wrong.
There was a special. Yes,
there was a special, and I think nothing happens in that too. And I probably should watch it though. Anyway. Will they say she's from the moon finally?
No,
probably not. No.
Well, I guess I damning indictment for the anime industry right there with this show. I think like this, we really need to fucking put a. I don't know. We need to tighten the nozzle. We need to tighten the faucet of the anime industry and make it stop just literally letting anything come out. I'm just gonna real quick just say, I know I said one of my guilty pleasures that I was gonna watch this season was Misfit at Demon King Academy. I'm just gonna say it's great. I'm just gonna say if you are a person who likes to be chuny, if you think that most cool thing is when like someone teleports behind someone and is like, hey, you thought you won, then this is the show for you. They come up with so many new and inventive ways to do it every week. Episode 4 had this really incredible scene where they were forced to all take a test, and they all took a test, and they were able to just pass because they all got a perfect score because all of their answers could be interpreted as correct or whatever. And the main character says the line, "You really thought that we couldn't get a perfect score with all the wrong answers?" Or something like that. And it was just like, fuck. Everything is like that in that show. It's just nonstop, like, you didn't think that I'm the coolest guy ever? And maybe if you don't like that sort of thing, it'd be pretty annoying, but I think it's fucking funny every time. Really enjoyable show that you don't have to use any brain power for. I highly recommend that. Maverick, you started reading?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Picked
Tell
up
me
a
about
book
that.
for the first time.
You just learned how to read. Yeah, no. Oh.
You opened up a book.
They call me the Winston of Choo Choo. I just started reading.
No, but yeah, I'm curious to see what did you just pick up?
It's Valentine's Day. I'm miserable. I'm alone. I'm a little salty about it because everyone's got flowers here in New York City. I picked up How to Be a Relationship, the whole Yuri manga that's literally about what if two lesbians fell in love in college.
Yeah, I've heard things of this series that are generally positive.
It's good.
All right, cool.
No, so the conceit is you have two college students, Miwa and Kause, I want to say. And Miwa, for a lot of her life, has been aware that she likes women. She's interested in dating women, and college feels like the chance for her to really explore that. And she's curious about joining clubs. She ends up joining like a band club, which I need to double check on because I sort of just read through the first volume today because I had like a slow day at work. I was trying to get through the second volume, and it was like when things started to pick up a little bit. And so from my understanding, this is a club basically made out of like various bands that want to connect and get together, or at least have like a central connection point of like, hey, we're all here at college trying to get this gig setup going. Why don't we support one another? Which is cool. I like that idea. And so here, Miwa and Kause end up joining up with three other guys, and in the middle of doing all this, as will often happen, everyone's like, "Wow, Miwa, you're so cute. Like, are you seeing anybody?" Is like, it never, from what I see, like, it's very even-handed about just this idea that, like, if you're a bunch of young people, how do you ultimately, like, toe the line of wanting to find someone out in a regular way, like, non-romantic, but then also in romantic ways, highlighting the fact that a lot of it is very heteronormative, where if there is an attractive woman, like, a guy's first thought, again, assuming that we're talking about all cis-het men, will probably be like, is she single? Is she someone that I could potentially date? But it's not presenting it in a way where it's like, outwardly creepy. More so, this is the role that folks in society often have to play. And so, if you're not playing that role in particular, how does that roll out? And Kause kind of just helps out with being able to help her pivot out of that. And that's where Mio realizes, like, oh, you're also gay. And in the moment, they're kind of just like, hey, do you want to go out? And the rest of this manga, from what I can tell, is really just an extensive look at these two characters learning how to fall in love with one another after, you have two people that are in a relationship that is, at this point, if not taboo, just very rare, depending on the situation. And again, I'm at least playing around with it in my head, just based on the amount of non-cis-het romances I'm aware of in my life, both immediately and just going around and like living my life. But wanting to highlight in a way where like part of that is that there is a lot of like inherent trauma or difficulty with communication, with understanding that even if it's not like, as it gets better, you have people in your corner, you have an understanding about how things work. There's still a lot of things that are just ultimately down to learning how to talk through this thing that you might even realize is an issue or is something that comes up. And really is just taking its time to explore that. I got into it after I just saw like several people in the server I'm a part of process it, and again, like, I'm coming at this as a cis het man, and so when I see piles upon piles of spoilered images and spoiler text that are like talking about how they're dying over what's going on, I get that that's a barometer for good, but then I'm also just like going through this first volume, and it's like, yeah, I dig this, because I also dig its depiction of not the couple. In particular, the bandmates have their own things going on where one of them is in a committed like high school relationship, or like is lasting since high school and is now like transferring into college. There's another guy in there who we get a little bit of like there's a scene that once these band members find out that Miwa and Kause are hanging going out, then they're kind of just like taking stock of that. And you have one character who to an extent is still learning to get over it, but it's not working out, which I get, just as like the reality of if you're into someone and just having to let that die out, which can be difficult. You have someone else who is trying to be very like enthusiastic and supportive, because he wasn't able to be that for a friend of his in high school who did come out as gay to him, who did have that support, and just didn't know how to actually like provide additional help or additional support. Because if you're never actually exposed to like diversity in your life, it can be hard to not even just like, from a point of hatred, even just what do I do next with this information? And I think it's good at juggling that, because then you do have other characters where there might be an angle of, homophobia. Potentially. There might be an angle of, like, oh, what exactly is your relationship between you two? Is there a reason for that? Those are characters that I'm starting to recognize and come into contact as well. There's another character, and as I'm learning all these names, maybe by the time that I actually finish the series, I can be more retroactive on this. But for one of them, it's like, I'm cool with everything because I don't know if I really want love. And not to say that, like, it's purely from an asexual point, but more so just this idea that, like, it's easier to not bother with it. But then the moment it comes up, God, does it hurt if things don't go out as planned? Which I think I just really appreciate the way that the writing is so personal, but no one is ever, like, an abject villain. More so just the reality that, like, you have to live each day is the closest thing to a villain here. But it still has a lot of fun.
Sounds good. I had been meaning to read it, and I will not say that I'm putting it at the top of my list, but if you're able to read it, let me put it this way. I know a lot of people who read Yuri stuff, and that means that their standards are not exactly something I trust, let's say. If you get what I'm saying. So hearing your, like, not, outsider in quotation marks perspective, as it were.
It doesn't shy away from, like, it doesn't shy away from the fact that these are two characters that want to have sex or are learning to have sex. If anything, the first volume is about, okay, we're both college-aged, people in a relationship. Even if you're not well-versed in this, like, is this something you want to do? Is this something that you're interested in? How do we go about it? And what are the steps? Like, it's good that, like, it doesn't shy away from the reality. Like, some people are horny. Kaise outwardly is, like, if not in the first volume, then in the second volume, she's just like, dude, I just get horny. Like, when I saw you, all I can think about are your boobs. And, like, it's hard for me to not steer away from that. But also, I don't want that to be everything of our relationship. But also please get that, like, that is something that I do need to recognize. Like, it doesn't shy away from the fact that there is a physical aspect to a relationship. Like, there are moments toward, like, the last chapter in volume 1, they're in a love hotel getting ready to, like, you know, do it, and a lot of the focus is also just on that way where it's like, when you're really in a relationship, even just like any sort of touch becomes this moment, and it's all this culmination of moments that make the actual act worth it and viable. And I just fucking stomp on my computer on Valentine's Day as I no, it's all really well done, and I appreciate the angle that it goes for. I'm curious to see where it goes from here and what exactly like the threshold is, because it's also a relatively new series. Like, it came out back in like 2020, and so there are about 8 official volume releases. I think volume 9 is available on like manga decks and stuff. But yeah, if this at all sounded interesting to you and you haven't already caught it, I highly recommend.
Sounds good to me. I will, in fact, check it out at some point. I'm planning on reading Trigun pretty soon, but maybe after that I can do that, because I am curious to get some context for Stampede.
Yeah, I'll do that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
God, I forget if I
There's
ever
a lot
mentioned-
to do in this world.
I don't know. Like, I forget if I mentioned it, but it's like I've definitely come across people that are like, "Oh, you've got to get into like the original manga, then you do the anime, and then you do something." And it's like, sure, I get that I'm probably missing some context, but also Stampede feels like a thing that is wanting to do its own thing just entirely with the IP. And so if I want to just watch Stampede right now, I think I'll just watch Stampede right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I definitely like am concerned that I'll get like too far into Trigun reading it, because I tend to read things pretty fast, and then I'll be like, oh, what about Stampede? Whatever, I just read this, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Reading is great. Reading is good for you. It's awesome. Bold statement here. It's kind of all we do on this show, actually, since we all read subtitles. I can't believe this is going way back now, but like with A Place for the Universe, there's not a dub.
Oh wow! I thought,
and that's crazy to me, because I was like, when I was halfway through the series, I was sort of like, oh, this is a Crunchyroll production. I was curious to see like what is the dub quality like? Let me see, and there was none, and I was like, what? It feels so weird considering it's a Crunchyroll production. Like you'd assume.
I think like yeah, from what I'm looking at, it looks like one of those weird things where the dub was only available to Southeast Asia. Like, it's one of those weird situations. That's what it looks like. From this information I'm pulling up, it seems like for only Southeast Asia got an English dub, and it's not. Despite being on streaming platforms, it's not, you can't get that if you're in North America. Really weird.
How strange. Mm-hmm. Speaking of strange, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is up to you. Elvie, what else have you been watching?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think to cap things off, I guess, like, if this is a good place to do that,
sure.
I like, bizarrely appropriate. Like, I feel like a lot of the string of things I've been catching up to would have all involved couples in some capacity. Star-crossed or otherwise. And yeah, I would love to talk about the strange series, The Tale of Outcast, which for anyone who's been following up on it, keeps getting compared to Ancient Magus Bride, which I do partially agree. It is very funny. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at it, it's like, what's going on here? And I think this is based on yes, it is. It is based on a manga series. And the premise is that you got this orphaned girl, And yeah, she's being forced to beg on the streets to survive. Like her current means of shelter is like this really horrible, like hypocritical, fucked up like priest who just makes her beg for his sake and get, you know, like, and for her to get him money and stuff like that. And he just keeps her in an attic and he treats her poorly. He doesn't feed her properly. But what keeps her at peace is that she confides in what the word they're using in the translation is a demon, some sort of demon, named Marbus. He's kind of like, my best way to describe how he looks like verbally is that he looks like a lion guy. He looks like a lion guy with horns. That's all I can say. I'm just gonna say he's a furry. He's like a furry. This is gonna be. There are other furries in the series I will go into, but yeah, he's like an anthropomorphic lion guy with horns. And she can see him, and it seems like it's going with this kind of like common in Western mythology and folklore over like, you can't see magical creatures unless you really believe in them or you have a reason to, you know, which is very a recurring thing in folklore like that. And yeah, he's like a cold personality. He's just whatever, but he listens to her. He thinks she's interesting, and he has this whole like self-loathing thing going on where like, I've been walking this world for centuries. I'm immortal. I have nothing to live for. I don't even have the urge to be evil or do fucked up things anymore as a demon.
Oh.
He's just like, I'm just here, and I guess I'm helping this girl be like a shoulder to cry on, etc. And like, he genuinely sees something in her. You know, is it love? Who knows? It probably is, right? We'll get there. One day, she finally finds out the priest is selling her off to some aristocrat, and it turns out, So the first episode of the series starts off on an insane edgelording note. I forewarning, but yeah, it turns out the priest might be like a child abuser, someone fucked up like that, and she's like, God, you know, and then we get treated to her backstory where she actually used to have an older brother who she recalled that the same thing happened to him. He was sold off to a rich person. I had never heard from him again. When I tried to look up where he went, they said that mansion didn't exist. It's all this thing, it wasn't, and then when Marbus, the demon's like, well, I can't do anything with you. I don't want to make a pact with you, and like, there's no reason for you to make. You know, there's, again, they do explain the rules within the I think naturally within the story of like, like demon, again, the whole thing of where demons can make pacts with people, all that. They call the person a contractor, which is really weird to me. They call the person a contractor to the demon. Like, okay, very strange. But then she ends up getting sold to the rich person. Yeah, he's about to torture her. Fucked up. Oh God. But then of course he steps in on time. He's like, no. Only very strange. Like, he only then does he step in. It's like, oh shit, I didn't realize how bad this was. I'm gonna step in and try to save this girl that I think I might like, maybe. Meanwhile, there are demons in this world, right? So of course there are demon hunters. So there's like these two demon hunter guys, and it turns out one of them is her brother. Oh my gosh, that's where he was this whole time. He became a he knows what she doesn't. Yeah, all this thing. So they try to intervene. They have this whole clash. Nonetheless, here, insane, edgy first episode. This girl realizes life is pain, life is suffering. What is there to live for? Only this demon can save me. I love it, maybe. I don't know. And I trust that he'll protect me. My only freedom from this world is to just travel like with this demon. I don't want him to leave me, etc. So in order to properly make a pact with him, because I don't know. Who is this man? I don't know. Is this Satan, Lucifer? I actually don't recall what this character was. But anyway, in the midst of this demon trying to save her from this fucked up rich guy, this thing that looks like a representation of Lucifer. I don't know what that is. I forgot their name already. But anyway, some sort of overseer of all demons and the ruling of demons being like, you're going too far, Marbus. You can't save this girl. She didn't make a pact with you. You gotta leave her alone and do your demon thing. I don't know what is stopping him from that, but like, whatever. A demon more powerful said, you can't do that shit. So anyway, the girl hears this and she's like, I gotta make a pact with him now. I gotta fucking leave this place. And she chooses to sacrifice her eyesight. So there's a shot of Marbus carrying this poor girl walking out of a burning building with blood coming out of her eye. What the fuck is going on with this first episode? And anyway, so now she's blind the rest of the series. That is her thing. She is now blind. She actually can't see because she trusts this guy to see the world she trusts this demon to see the world for her on her behalf. How romantic. Sure. Anyway, the whole thing with the series is that these are these two wandering souls rejected by society, wandering out and they're traveling, trying to find a man or peace, right? And now, so we got the brother, Demon Hunter, and you would think that would be a problem. Like, oh shit, my sister is now with this demon. I have to, my job is to kill that demon who's, Second episode, that gets resolved, actually. They literally fight, and they're like, you know what? Cool, I'm not gonna kill you, buddy, but you gotta protect my sister who's now blind. What the fuck happened here? Why is she blind? Anyway, peace. I'm gonna run into you again later on. So I guess the brother Demon Hunter is like, sure, I'm gonna leave her be. It's very strange. Like, you would think all these years, like, he would be more, like, which he was, but he's not like, I'm gonna stay with them. I'm not gonna, like, he's just like, I'm gonna leave her be with the demon. So anyway, rest of the series is them, having these, like, kind of, like, episodic scenarios where they're meeting other people. They're meeting other contractors who have a relationship with a demon in some way, other stories. One of the episodes is they meet another girl who also has a pact with a demon. And the plot twist was the girl was dead. So if you're dead, you can have a pact with a demon. The world building is really insane. And I'm here for it. I'm like, sure. Okay. Sure. And yeah, this is the tale of Outcast. I'm losing my mind because as I'm talking about this, I still think The Angel Next Door is more insane. I know that's bizarre for me to say. I still think that series is more insane than this, like, occult, like, fantasy series.
No, I get you. Like, there's this notion of like, oh sure, yeah, there are demons and all this stuff, whatever. But like, these aren't like, there'll be echoes of humanity in them.
Right.
And then what you described, I feel like there's an absence of humanity. There is, it is like near automata. The robots are just acting things out that they think they're supposed to in a way that's like disconcerting.
I have to help this boy. Like right now, I think what's like crazy about this Tale of Outcasts is like they're just throwing out rules out the door. I'm like, okay, why not? Right. Marbus can also, there seems to also be something at stake here where, of course, there's actually, so there's the brother Demon Hunter. Of course, there's going to be other Demon Hunters who don't know what's going on here. Like, oh, they're going to fucking kill it, but Marbus also has the ability. So weird. Yeah. Sometimes people can see him and sometimes they don't. Not consistent about that, but sure. And Marbus is also able to actually take on the appearance of a human just so casually when he realizes people do see him, like, oh shit, I gotta be, But that is actually kind of slowly killing him. That's taking away his power. It's like, oh no, the more he's being human, the more it's like, oh man, it's hitting all those tropes. I see. Yeah, classic Beauty and the Beast thing, right? And they're also inconsistent about, like, she's blind now, but sometimes she doesn't act that way. It's like, it's like, oh, and they had a gag in like the second episode when they realized, oh shit, she needs new clothes, which they really commit to. And so far, any jokes they do with it, I don't, again, I'm someone who can see, so I don't know the extent of like, is this insensitive? Like, I don't know what's going on here. But there's a joke where like they're trying to shop for new clothes for her, and and she's describing how she feels about the clothes, which is like, oh, okay, yeah. So they're really saying like she just feels the clothes, she doesn't see the clothes, and she's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. But we as the audience, the joke is like we see how ridiculous she looks, and these clothes Marbus Arbus is trying to pick with her, and he has no sense of style for a girl, right? And then at some point she says, I'll just do this myself. And then she realizes she can't see. She forgot to see. It's like, oh no, okay, all right. But yeah, other times there's like a lot of scenes, especially in high points of action, where they don't really commit to the fact that like she's not used to not seeing, you know, like she's not used to this like new normal for her, and it's a little weird, which I think shows a lot too, where the animation quality feels like, and again, not bad, it's fine, but when you look at the series too, my first thing immediately is like, whoa, this looks like this was made in 2010. Like it looks much older than it should be. Like something about the digital animation style and the color palette they're going for like really makes this look not contemporary too. So it doesn't help a lot to when like a character who has like a disability like that deserves to be treated well and depicted well, like the animation doesn't service it at all, because the animation isn't that great anyway. Or like, you know, like there would be a lot of nuances to her behavior, I think, that would really help that. But yeah, so far it feels like right now like a weird secondary thing just to give a justification as to why she needs to depend on this demon guy, right? And so that's kind of what's going on. She has a cool cane, though. She gets a cool cane and cloak. That's fun. That's
just
fun
like Max.
I think my best read of a review of the series was the writer wrote, "This is a series I can't enjoy anymore at the age I'm in."
Okay, yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I mean?
No, totally, that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
it's the Black Butler style thing,
like,
almost.
oh wow, I wish I was in this. Like, this is a fucked up world, but you know what? There's pretty men to protect me. I can do. Yeah, it's just. It just goes to my disbelief of like what is going on in this series.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with stuff like that getting made over the other thing you're describing, which is like, yeah.
Very twisted.
God, we need to go back to there being like 4 anime a season, like straight up. We need to go back. Like, it's not good. It's not good. As someone who watches all the isekai, it's not good.
You know, they talk about it like Hollywood's a bubble waiting to burst. It's the same thing with anime right now.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, we'll wrap it up since, you know, we had to record a little late since y'all went out to the film. Might as well, you know, take it a little easy, and we'll talk more next time. Next time, it was John's turn to pick. John, would you like to just tell us what you have picked?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of picked something randomly because I bought it on Blu-ray for like $2 a year ago, and I never watched
what better
it.
reason is there?
Yeah, so I have a copy of Liz and the Bluebird, and that's what we're gonna watch.
All right, I've been meaning to watch this, so I'm glad that we are getting a chance, because I would not otherwise probably.
Another rewatch for me.
Oh wow! Well,
look at you.
When I pick my fucking one in 2 months, you need to like tell me if you've seen it. Okay, you need to tell me.
No, it's good because like I say, it's a rewatch, but it's like I literally like again with this one, it's like I watched it the one time and I haven't thought about it.
I know you'll be like,
years.
oh, I'm learning something new, but I you can learn something wholly new once. You know, that's what I want.
All right, recommend the freaking Bible if you're looking for holy
No. No.
And there are anyway.
Don't say that.
Happy science cult or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out. Be pretty good. I've only heard good things about it. But yeah, we're gonna check that out next time. Yeah, the usual bit here. Patreon.com, VGCC. $3 gets you everything 1 week early, like this show right here. As always, we take opinions over at videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask, or Twitter or Discord, wherever. Just, drop an opinion, just say that it's for the podcast, and we will write it down. And yeah, so we're watching that next time. We watched A Place Further in the Universe. That was picked by, who was that? Beryl? That was Beryl's put in. Yeah, thanks Beryl. You can put in things over there on the Patreon if you want us to watch anything. We still have a list to go through, but we don't do this shit in order, so if it just sticks out to us, we will just grab it. And as always, thanks for listening. Thank you all for joining me, and we will see you next time on another episode of Unlimited Railworks.